The positions for stereo A and stereo B, 2007, February 25th at about 1800 hours UT, which is basically just GMT on Earth, shows that it was in the same, very, very close to the Earth, both of them were. This meant that any image they took of the sun, which is their job, would include, in this case, Mercury and possibly something orbiting the Earth, because they would be pretty close to it. Anyway, from 0700 hours to 1900 hours on that day, approximately, something interesting happened that someone decided to misinterpret. That's what the eclipse looked like, and this is the way it's appearing on this, and it shows 7:33, and that's core 1. This is core 2 showing at 1900 hours. This is the UV showing at 1320, and we get some consistency here finally. This is the image that keeps being used for the videos, and the people who keep uploading them cut off the time and date stamp at the bottom and also cut off the name of it at the top so that you wouldn't know what it's from. So we're going to run this at full speed or higher speed real quick just to get an idea of what it looked like. This is a week's worth of orbit information, or more accurately just a week's worth of staring at the sun, which you shouldn't do unless you're a satellite or using something to cover up the sun, like maybe your thumb. I'm trying to fill in time here, sorry. This is a whole week's worth. The only reason for it is it covers a much, much larger area of the sky that way. And as you can see, when I step it back behind, you get away with seeing it going ahead and turning off the sun for a second. Now we'll do this one here, so you can see a week's worth here. This is the one that keeps being used. Someone says, well, what is that object? Well, the object is actually the moon. It's orbiting the Earth, but it's going in front of the sun, but that's not what is desired in the content of the videos that people put up, because they wanted to convince people that this was some new planet that somehow nobody could see unless they had special snowflake vision and, possibly some sort of drug addiction. So anyway, I'm going to get it in here, get it into the occulter mode, and let's see if I can get this to, yeah, there we go. And there's 2 frames, actually, not just one, of it doing the impression of being the Black Death. Now we're going to go ahead and just run this one. This goes in a short loop because I only did it for the number of hours it would show up on the screen. Many, many hours, but it's still, there you are. Now we go here, do the same thing, because I feel like filling up time. Mostly because I want everyone to see, no, really, this is literally doing this, and you can reproduce this just by going to the page and just going ahead and playing with it. This is a simple thing I'm going to call double checking. Basically, by doing this, you're able to detect that there's some consistency in the information. The data is consistent with it being eclipsed effectively by a object, and the object matches up with the position of the moon. Someone else already did a video on that. So I'll just get this one going. This will be the last one, and then I'll give you the reveal on the information I've got to say. It's going to be an opinionated bit, but I wanted to show everybody how you have the ability to run multiple screens worth of data if you get enough RAM, and go ahead and test this. I'm hoping it doesn't crap out the computer at this point. And these are all UV and infrared and that sort of thing. And that also indicates that it's not some brown dwarf because it is visible in UV. So, yeah, it's kind of like that. WSO, Steve Olson, and Nibiru Planet X 2016's channel both use NASA stereo behind images and hid the captions for 2007, February 20th through 27th to make their videos trying to prove something that is not true, that there's Nibiru out there. The fact that both of these channels keep posting fake proofs should be enough for anybody who ever watches these channels to come to the conclusion that they lie, because they're lying. Next, today, one of them tore down a video where he was being very bravado-ish and challenging people, and his own video had so many people pointing out that he was wrong that he finally just took it down. Because he did. People weren't agreeing with him. Now, WSO Steve Olson heavily moderates his stuff, and so did this guy, but WSO Steve Olson has a brigade of people who will always agree with his conclusions in the videos and not let people get away with getting one word in or getting the last word ever. So it didn't work very well for the newbie. So he's learning from WSO Steve Olson how to brigade against anybody posting anything the contrary. The timing and date information for the transitions across the disks of the sun are listed for Core 1, Core 2, and the 171, 195, 284 and 304 angstroms wavelengths for the EUVI imagers. And all of them coincident, mostly, but not always, at 1900 hours, which is the best timing I would consider for this. But the actual time midpoint of the transition appears to have been the one that was on the screen that I showed you. So, thanks for watching. Have a good day, and I wish everyone luck with that. And please, if any of you want to double check these things, check the time and date stamps for the objects that are being mentioned. Hopefully they mention them in the other videos that come up that'll inevitably do this. And you might notice that the Earth and two satellites are so close together that they eclipse each other. Bye.